Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. You join me on the mighty Menai Strait. If you didn't guess already, that is Britannia Bridge. I've not fished here for a while. I've had some absolutely amazing sessions here. I've caught some cracking fish from here. You can only fish this place on a really small tide. Anything above a small tide, basically. Medium tides, no. Big tides, your lead just floats on top. I've had some good battles on here with some big fish in the currents. You've probably seen them in my older videos a year or two ago, 3 years ago. I'm here now. I've travelled extremely light as I can. I've got some frozen fish baits, mackerel and squid. I was out pumping worm earlier on a beach in Trevor, and I pumped quite a few decent blow lug, which I've got with me now. So they're going to be going down. I've heard there's some big grass here. I know you get the big bass here. I've had bass from here and I've seen big bass caught from here. I've had big huss from here. Actually catch everything. I've never caught a wrasse from here, but people do tell me that there's a lot of big grass around. So I'm going to drop some worms down off the rock. I'll show you the ground in a minute and what it's like and what we're up against. We're about 2 hours before high tide. As soon as the tide turns here, it gushes back out, and then you literally can't hold bottom, even with 10 or 12 ounce leads. But we've got big Britannia Bridge behind us, and there's a lot of history about this bridge, the way it was built, the old statues at the top, you know, the fire that it had, and you know, the double layer bridge, the way it was built with the box system and that. So while I'm setting these rods up, I'm going to show you a little bit of the history about it and tell you exactly what happened. And there goes one of the trains. So while I set these up, have a little look at this. There are two pairs of lions on the Britannia Bridge that used to greet the old train from each side when it come in. These was visible from 1850 until 1970, but have recently been covered up by the building of the new road. Built up of these iron box sections designed by Robert Stephenson for rail traffic. You can still see some of the stonework where the old barges used to be tied up to lift the bridge into place. Joining the Isle of Anglesey and Bangor together, this bridge is over 1,500 feet long and over 221 feet high. It really is a massive structure, with the clearance from the water to the bottom of the arches being well over 100 feet. Anyway, less of the bridge, let's get back to that platform and do some fishing. So did you like your little history lesson then? A lot of people have been saying in the last few videos, they love looking around Anglesey, looking at the stuff. There's a lot of people that actually watch the channel now that don't actually fish, they just like looking at the scenery and like seeing, you know, the area and what's going on. So here I am. I thought I was more fisherman, then I was like, I've got it to myself, no. But it's not more fisherman, it's just a dog walker. This is the platform. Big platform. I'm not going to tell you where to park or how to get to it because it can be a bit tricky. I don't want nobody parking there on my watch, but it's quite obvious where it is. I'm right by the side of the big bridge. And you've got this type of stuff. We're about 2 or 3 hours off high. You've got rocks for about 7 or 8 metre, and then it just goes bang into a big channel. So that's where we are now, and well, I say me, I'm on my own. It's good to fish on your own sometimes because you got nobody else casting over you. You can just be your own person, can't you? Yeah, but here I am. This looks bloody good. There's supposed to be a load of fish around here at the moment. I've been here before, and I've actually seen dolphins jumping under the bridge there while I've been fishing here, and I've literally been coming out and out and out. As I say, we're about 2 hours to the top of the tide. So I'm going to get some bites in. As I say, I pumped them worm earlier, big worm. Going to get them in on a little 2-hook scratcher, and I'm going to wang a big fishy bait out because you can get some absolutely monster conger here. I've seen them hooked here, and I've hooked stuff here that you just like, Jesus, no chance. I've brought the net, which extends just in case I get something like a decent bass or a huss, and I can't handball it up. I'll walk round to there, into the shallows, and I'll net it. I haven't got my drop net. It's I think it's in Landulus at the moment, my drop net. There's some fishermen coming through on the boat. So without further ado, I don't want to waste any time here. But like, do fishing places get much better than that? You know, I don't think they do, you know. I don't think they do. So I'll get set up and I'll show you what I'm doing. Subscribe. The rods are ready to go in. I've got a one up, one down on here. One of Key's rigs with a lovely bit of blow lug on. And I've got another one here, which is the one up in the water with a lovely bit of blow lug on. These are actually the smaller blow lug. The other ones are absolute monsters, so I might need some bigger hooks. On the right rod, I'm going for the big fish. Got one of Key's rigs again, which puts me down on the deck. I know the Huss and the Congers like being on the deck, and that's going on to a nice half a mackerel. So yeah, they're just going to go out, bang. The worm rod's probably going to go in close, probably just off. If you can see the ledge, it just drops off there. I am prepared to get snagged. I am going to get snagged. I know I'm going to get snagged. I always get snagged, but I'm going to give it a go. So let's see what happens. By the time I've sat here, you know, checked my phone, put my rigs on, had a mess about. We've got about an hour and 20 minutes till high tide. So let's get the rods in and see if we can get a bite. We're due a few fish, aren't we? This is always the most nerve-wracking bit when you fish here, because it can rip through. It doesn't look like it's ripping through yet, but it can. It's got these two worms on these little booms. I must say, Key's rigs, I know I say it in every video, they are the best of the best. I've used a lot of rigs. So we're going to just flick this out just off the edge. This really doesn't want to go out far. Just want it just off that shelf there. About. Perfect. It's dropping a bit. That is perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. I'm pretty sure that will hold there because it's not actually out in the float or anything like that. Famous last words, that it could well go off now, couldn't it? We will always noodle up on this mark with my super duper noodles, just in case. One, you could have a boat zip in close and hit your rod, you could have a seal come through, or you just do get a lot of current sometimes. Like this one, I want to cast down tide, so when the lead hits the bottom, the bait kicks away. Or down flow, should I say, or cast with the flow. And again, it's not got to go too far. It's not no big chucks here. Now we could be in a bit of trouble with this one. I don't mind if it bounces about a bit. That is just dropping, 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 still dropping, 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 still going, look. Oh, it's just found some sort of normalness. I'm expecting this one to whiz around into the side. I'm going to noodle it up. I'm expecting that rod to bend over like it never has done before now. But it might settle. But that's the thing with them noodles, it just doesn't go. It doesn't, you can't lose your rod really. Let's bring the camera a bit closer, see if we can get some good bites on camera. I need to set the camera up so the rods are not with a bridge behind them, because it's hard to see. Need a bit of sunlight behind the rods. We can work this. Now that is what you call thinking about your viewers. Setting the rod up so you can see the bites. I know when the bridge is behind. Oh! As I say, you do get a lot of current here, so you know, you don't have to get excited when you see something like that. That looks more like, when this is the slow ones like that, it's normally something at the line or just a bit of drag. You want the tappity taps. But yeah, I'll set that camera up so you can see the bites properly now. So for that alone and thinking here, you know what you need to do? Press that subscribe button and give a video a thumbs up. It's worth a thumbs up, isn't it, that? Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're not bites. As I say, you get all sorts of stuff drifting through here. Not fished it a load of times, probably 4 or 5 times over the last probably 4 years, to be honest. But it's always chucked something up. Probably not today though. It won't be today now I'm recording, will it? 25 minutes has passed and nothing has happened. There has been little slight rattles and little slow nibbles and pull downs and stuff, but definitely no definite bites. Probably crabs or just weed in the line. So we can have a look. The main objective here is not to get snagged, because I know what this is like. Right, first rod's in. Yes, 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 yes. Okay. Both worms have been done. That one has been bit off about halfway down, and that one's been bit off. Most likely crabs or little species like blennies or tom pot blennies or plant pot barries, whatever you want to call them, them little things, and the little scorpion fish and whatever. So have a look at this other rod while you're on camera. This had a couple of like taps as well, but with it being a big mackerel bait and out in the current, it's probably going to be crabbed or snagged in it. So the first lift, we want to pump it up off the bottom, then keep it up. And that's up. But if I'm honest, it feels like the mackerel bait is still on, but I've got a big lead on. I've got an 8-ouncer on here. Because it does gush. Or it can gush. It can gush, by the way. It's not gushing now, but it probably will. So let's just have a look. I don't think that mackerel bait's been touched. Has it? Let's have a look. Yeah, it has. Yeah, the crabs are in town. The crabs are back in town. So I got a new bait on. The crabs have had a right munch on that. That would have still done a bite though, if anything come along that would have ate it. So yeah, crabs. Well, both bites have had something happen. I'm guessing crabs on this one, and either crabs or mini species on that one. Get them back out and do the same again. At least there's something in the area, right? There is really nothing to report, apart from little taps and stuff. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to that end of the platform and I'm going to send them down the Straits. That's where I've had fish from here in the past. I just thought there'd have been bites on these worms and stuff in the side, but obviously not. Oh, I thought we was in a snag then. I thought we was in a snag. Looks like the same has happened again. Yeah, these worms are getting stripped. I have had a couple of casts off camera as well. I've not showed you every cast. Been fishing for about another hour, really. The tide's just started. I think it's still rising, but it's just started turning. As I say in my videos, the tides of the Menai are weird. You've got two seas meeting about here, one from that end, one from that end, and the tides are all over the place. If you want to know about it, YouTube it, Google it, and have a look, because I don't know. I know roughly, but I don't know. I did put on this rod, mackerel and squid wrap. I know you get some good huss down here and some good congers. Oh, come on, that did snag, but it's out, which is the main thing. So it looks like we're going to have, I think we've had 6 casts now. You might have only seen 4. We've had 6 casts, and all 6 have come back in, which is good, because this is normally an absolute snag pit. You normally lose every other one, to be fair. To get 6 out of 6 back is pretty much unheard of here. Yeah, the crabs have been smashing it again, but there's still enough there for a bite. Right, I'm going to show you where I'm going to fish now. Change your plan. It's only 10 metres that way, but we're casting probably 50, 60 metres that way, and there's all kelp beds and stuff there. Nothing's happening around here. So this is where I have been fishing, flicking it out there, but I'm going to come down to this corner. I'm going to be filming with the sun behind me, which I hate. And I'm going to be sending the rods sort of like dish, dish down there. Because I've had fish from there before. The fish that I've had from here have actually been down that way. As I say, the tide's turning now. The flow of the water is going from right to left. When I got it was going from left to right, but it's still rising. I've been here before as well in the past. I've seen all the whitebait come flying through here and all the mackerel. As I say, I've seen dolphins and everything jumping there. So we're going to move stations about 10 metres, but even though I'm moving 10 metres, I'll be fishing probably about 60, 70, 80 metres away from where I was. We'll try down that way. Where's me finger warmer? Never used one of these before, but I'm using this thinner braid now. I don't use a shock leader because the braid's just heavy enough not to crack off. Obviously with a big lead and half a mackerel, if you sling it with that thin braid, it's going to cut in your finger. And I have had it done once. Police are out. I've had it done once. Oh yeah. I've had it done once about 2 years ago when it cut from my finger. And some more anglers turned up. Lure fishermen, they're heading off down there. I'm going to keep my eye on them, see if they get anything. But I've had it done about 2 years ago and it cut right to the bone. And I ain't having that happen again. Now, with this bit of mackerel, this is the arse end of the mackerel. Oh god, that's good camera skills, isn't it? Look, there it is. Where's it gone? There it is. It's the arse end of the mackerel. And I want to launch this down the Strait, sort of out and down. I want quite a bit of distance on this. Watch I don't whip that phone in, yeah? And that is out in the soup. That's on the deck. noodle her up, and that's a running rig. So the lead's on the bottom, the flow's going that way now, the lead's on the bottom, and the baits should be absolutely perfect. There's not much flow out there at the moment, to be honest. We are about on slack. There's not much at all. Right, that's fishing. On this one, I've got some blow lug again. To be fair, the blow lug are a bit big for the hooks I've got. I'm picking the smaller ones out, and they're still a bit big for them little hooks. I found one little one to put on the top, but all the others now are like that big and as thick as your thumb. So we might have to change the rigs. You can't really cut blow lug in half, because if you cut blow lug in half, you just tend to, you know, there's nothing to it apart from a little bit of skin. This one, we're just going to keep launching out here just off the edge of them rocks. See if something will come along. And try and get a fish. Yeah, that's what we come for, fishing. We want to get a fish. Noodles. My noodles I got from Bluefin. Oh, that looked like it snagged. We'll just leave that one for a minute. Or should we try it? No, we'll leave it for a minute. We'll leave it. Looks like it snagged the way it's bent over. Finger warmer off. And see if we can get some fish, eh? This is hard going. The right one's been hooping over slow, which is almost certainly weed or something on the line. There's no bites. The tide's picking up now. I'm having a chat to somebody called Ian, who follows the channel. Yeah, good to have a chat with you, mate. He's hoping I'll get one. Good to see you, buddy, yeah? Yeah, I'm really struggling here, but as I say, you see it as it is. The worms I've got left now, have a look at these. So I'm thinking, even though I would have, well, didn't want to stay much longer, I'm going to stay because I've got these worms. Look at these. I've got some absolute dinosaurs in here. These are like as fat as you like, look at them. So I'm thinking of putting a big pulley pennel on and using up these last worms. I have, where I'm stopping tonight in Trevor, I have got my bucket there with the air pump in with probably about another 20 or 30 worms like that in. So I could take these back and put them in there, really. That should last for a few days then. But I'll put the little hooks on the right one, hoping to use all the little worms. And when I grabbed an handful out, I think there's a few little ones in there, and I brought most of the big ones. So I think I'm going to pull a pulley pennel on this, or something with a bigger hook, and send that out. And try. I've got a feeling this one's going to be snagged. No. God, you can feel the boulders down there. You can feel them boulders. Right, both hooks have gone. Both hooks, both baits have gone. I'm being smashed by either crabs or little species. So I'm going to change this rig. I'm going to change it, and I'm going to show you what I'm going to put on it in a sec. We're going to get some big worm baits out there. You could eat anything on them big baits, couldn't you? Them worm baits, from a huss to a doggy, conger, ray, bass, hound, anything will hit one of them, won't it? I'll leave the macro bait in there for a bit while I change this one, and I'll show you what's going on. So it's just a beautiful place, isn't it? There's places, and like when you come down somewhere like this, and it's not like a busy harbour ball, which I don't mind, or like a busy rock mark where there's 30 people on, like that one in Marlborough. This is just totally different. Totally. This is really picking up momentum now, actually, the Straits, even though it's a small tide. You can probably see it coming through now. But this is where I've had fish before, like this. So I'll get that, I'm talking too much, get that pulley on, show you what's going on. Now we're talking. We got a big pulley panel on with one of them massive blow lugs. One at the top, one at the bottom. They're a big worm, them. Really big worm. The current started ripping through, so I don't want to be overcasting too much. That current has really started ripping through now, to the point of, I don't know if it's going to be fishable, to be honest. Not put that out that far because the way it's ripping. We'll just see how this holds now. It could be game over. It could be game over. I hope it's not. Nah, it is holding. It is holding, that big worm. As I say, I'll come down expecting to fish little bits of blow, and then I forgot how big the worms actually was, so I was just pumping them and chucking them in. Grabbed an handful quick, so I was in a rush. I've got loads of bloody worms that big, wanting to fish for little wrasse and that. This left one now is being pulled round. at great velocity. I'll tell you what would be good now. If we got a fish down there in this current, you'd see exactly what I mean about the battles that we've had here in the past. Because you've got to fight them in the current. It's like a big plastic bag full of water, you've got to pluck the current. Well, I do believe that sometimes when it turns like this, the fish can come in with the moving water. You know, there was nothing here before. What's to say that when this gushes through, the fish aren't going to either come down with it or chase up it, feeding on what's coming down it. I'm not going to give in. So that lead's on the surface all the way out there now. I don't know if you can see that just off camera down there. And that's what happens when you get a fish. You can have a huss on or a conger on. You can see it on the surface about 30 yards away. It's a weird mark. Love to get something from here like that to show you, because the battles are insane. The current makes the fish feel 10 times bigger than it is. And you can just get a little bit of line, then get it back, then a little bit of line. It's brilliant, to be honest. It makes a crabfish feel like a monster. Crabs have been at that again. Right, I think we're going to fish a big squid bait down there now. I think that's what I'm going to do. Looking at the way this is flowing through now, this it's going to rip too much soon. It's probably going to be one more cast on the hope for a fish at the end. Wish me luck. Really, I'm throwing everything at this, people. Let's put a nice big squid bait on. There's actually 2 squid there because there was little squid. They're stinky squid as well. Hook point proud. Just struggling. Not really been a proper bite. We all have it though, don't we? I was just thinking to myself, how often, realistically, do we blank as fishermen or fisherwomen or fisher people? Like, out of every 10 trips, look at that current pulling that round now. This is where you need your noodles here. I'll let that settle. Wherever that settles, that's going to settle. It's pulling right down into the side, but it's going to settle where it settles. You know, out of every 10 trips, how many do you catch? I know if you're going for the mini species with little hooks or something, you might be a bit more successful. That's my excuse anyway. So I just looked through my last 10 videos, and I think out the last 10 videos, there's been 4 blanks, and this could be 5 out of 11, so I'm running on about 50-50, which is good actually. Oh, shh. See, without a noodle then, that would have been gone. Noodle it up and leave it in. Yeah, this is getting a bit too heavy now, but I'm going to stick with it. Just wrap these noodles around a bit more so I know I definitely can't lose any rods. Them noodles from Bluefin, literally not only can you carry all your rods together and like walk down in one, not only can you use them for rod rests, I've used them for dog leads and wrapping other stuff up and everything. They really are good. But anyway, back to this thing I was on about. How often do you blank? Like I said, I think I've caught 6 out of my last 10 videos. This will be the 5th blank out of my last 11 videos. So I'm running just a little bit better than 50%. What's that, about 55%? I'm sure somebody will correct me. Catch rate, which is good actually, because if he was catching every time, it would be boring, wouldn't it? It wouldn't, would it? It'd be brilliant, but you know what I mean. That's about what I'm running on, and I've been trying new marks and that as well. But does anybody realistically go out there and catch every session? I know you see the YouTube channels and fishermen where they do, which are really good anglers, and they probably do, to be honest. But us average fishermen like me, and probably like 99% of you watching, we catch some, we blank some, don't we? We catch some, we blank some. Look how this is ripping through now. Oh, these are probably going to be the last 2 casts, and not because I want to go, because I committed tonight to staying here till something happened. But if it's coming through like this now, and it's only just turned, imagine, you know, in an hour's time, because obviously the water, when the tide turns, it's at its slowest, isn't it? The fastest tide is in the middle of the tides, so it's only going to get stronger and stronger now. I'm going to leave them in just in case. Actually, this might be unfishable. I've got 8-ounce like flat leads on them as well. Well, it should find its level even if it's pulling it round into the side, shouldn't it? Look at that, I can't even put the rod there, look. God, it's a small tide as well. So what I have realised about this mark now, which I knew anyway, you can fish it up, but as soon as it turns, you've got to get out of here. Right, is it time for a pizza yet? Or a kebab? A big double cheeseburger or something? I think, oh, I just had a big splash. Did you hear that? If somebody threw something off the bridge or what, but there's a big splash then. Yeah, I think I'm going to have to call it here, but I will bring you back if anything happens. I'm going to leave them in for a bit and stand by the rods, but I'm not going to bore you making you watch the current take the rod over. Yeah, if you like this stuff, hit the thumbs up and give it a subscribe. I don't think I've blanked here before, to be honest. It's been a weird year for me. I've been fishing, well, the start this year from January. Fished a lot of the places I fished last year and done exactly the same and caught absolutely loads from everywhere last year. Just not seem to be having it. I don't know if anybody else has noticed the change. Maybe I'm just crap. Maybe it's just one of them. But I know when I was here last year putting, you know, baits out like that, I was having bites every 10 minutes. It was banging over. I know the other places I've fished was really going off. There's something going on, people. Where are all the fish? Anyway, hit that subscribe button. I'll see you in the next video.